Welcome to the Regular Joe's podcast. I'm Dave Pisani.
I'm Barry Kay.
And I'm Todd Pleasant.
You know, I'm happy I'm recording tonight so I don't have to be watching Flash.
In a DVR world, that's not an excuse, though. You can watch
really
Flash
isn't.
anytime.
The third week in a row.
Yep.
You know, I just thought of this is not a random topic. Are you guys caught up on Resident Alien?
Yes. Love that show.
Who played the octopus?
Oh, I did see. I saw it in the credits. It was somebody. Oh God,
Nathan Fillion.
Nathan Fillion.
Was
Yes.
it? Okay. I
noticed.
I remember
was
thinking that and was like, yeah, okay. Yep.
I didn't even check. I just happened to. I saw him like he's going to talk to this guy, and I bet it's going to be Nathan Fillion's voice.
Why?
I love that show so much.
Why did you think it was going to be his voice?
Because those guys have done stuff like that. with each
Oh,
other.
right. Okay, I got you. I actually, when he first started talking, I was like, "Is that Patton Oswalt?" And
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty
no,
sure.
I think it was.
Voice,
I think it was because that was one of the other people I thought it might have been.
I think they did something like that on one of his shows, or they definitely are sharing sort of things like that, which is cool. But anyway, if you're not watching the show, watch it.
That show is a gem.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, it's going to be probably over soon.
Yeah, I will tell you, I've read the first two. The comic was released in like 4-issue arcs, and I've read the first 2 arcs. The show is better than the comic. It's a very different premise. They kept some similar things, but the kind of dark shit to it exists only in the series. And like the backstory with why he's there and that sort of stuff. He's a little more benevolent in the comics. I like the show a lot better. They did a really good.
And I didn't expect them when this show started, and I thought it was really going to be based in the town. I didn't expect them to go to the alien ship in the hangar, and I mean, last week they were on the glacier and they fell into the crevasse. I'm like, I didn't expect them to be doing those kind of sequences on this show based on how it started. So
yeah, that's good. And Alan Tudyak's birthday today. Happy birthday!
That's right.
The big 5-0. It's so funny. You realize all this stuff, and Pam's like, "Who's this guy?" I'm like, "Who's this guy?" First of all, he's in Firefly, which you never saw. Second of all, he's the voice of K2SO. Then there isn't a time she won't watch iRobot when it's on because she loves that movie. I'm like, that's him too.
But you know where most people know him from? Dodgeball as Steve the Pirate.
Oh, God. Yeah, as the pirate. I saw that the other
When
day.
where people know him from?
Yeah, when we were at Star Wars Celebration and I went to get his autograph. Maria's sister was with me, and she's like, "Oh my God, it's Steve the Pirate."
He was Mr. Nobody in Doom Patrol, and he's one of the best things about the show in that first season, because he was like this incredibly maniacal, evil guy who every once in a while would like stop and explain his intentions to the audience. It's like, okay, and you should understand this, why this is really bad. And it was just great.
Well,
But he shows up in he's in. I know it's not your favorite movie, but it should be your second favorite movie. Knocked Up. He's in that as well.
Is he Knocked Up? I don't remember that.
Yeah, he plays the E sort of producer. He's got a small.
Oh, that's
part.
right. That's right. He was all. I mean, he was in that short-lived sitcom too. That superhero sitcom.
Oh,
Con
yes,
Man? No.
where he played Bruce
What was
Wayne's
that?
cousin.
He played Bruce Wayne's cousin.
What was that?
It was called. Wasn't it called Wayne Industries or something like that, or Wayne Enterprises?
It was. Remember, it was the. It was about like basically superhero insurance company.
Oh yeah, I didn't see that. Yeah,
I actually watched every episode of that show,
Did you
but
really?
mainly because of him. He's great.
Yeah, he is great, but yeah.
Anyway, this week we're going to touch on Justice League, the original cut, briefly. We'll continue the theme. We'll talk about Superman and Lois. That's a new Berlanti. He even calls it the Arrowverse, even though that's not the Arrowverse. But I guess it is. It all sort of came out.
They
of
were in
that.
the crossovers.
Yeah. And let's do random. Todd, what do you got?
Okay. I got 2 things you neither of you guys have. One,
Well, we'll see about that.
Killing Eve is going to do its
No,
the 4th season, which is forthcoming. Was delayed, like
Next
everything
year.
else. Is going to be the final season.
2022. That's probably the right amount.
I think
of time
it is
for
too.
that show.
I will say I've been listening to the books. Luke Jennings wrote the books. Really, really, really good. I have stopped at the point they are in the show. There's another book sitting out there, but the books and the books in the show are exactly synced with each other right now, and I don't even want to compare and contrast at this point. So,
I don't think I watched season 3. I'm just realizing maybe that's something.
Oh, really? Yeah, you definitely go back and watch.
Oh, you definitely should. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't watch that.
It was at a weird time. I will say that.
Is it on something easy like Amazon or anything? I hope.
So
or Netflix.
But
so I don't have to watch commercials.
Yeah, it's good, and I also recommend the novels, which are slightly different. The characters are a little bit different, but it follows a similar trajectory. They're just, again, the character's a little different. So the other thing, and I don't think either you guys will have this, is last year, the only thing that really interested me at Toy Fair was NECA had a bunch of Batman props that they announced that they were going to do. And the Batarang from Batman 1989 is now up for pre-order at a whole bunch of places finally, and these things all kind of like there just wasn't any talk about them. Whatever. Here's the thing. This is why I mentioned. So this is technically what will be in the box sometime later this spring. Kind of cool. It folds. It's just like the one in the thing. Folds into a little hand-sized thing and unfolds.
Oh, nice.
NECA makes it, as they said. There are people selling this for as much as $24.99. Okay,
I would buy that.
They're $16.99 at Entertainment Earth and $17.99 at a bunch of other places. Comes with a stand and everything. So look around before pre-ordering this. There are people that are getting a whole lot of money. There's a few people on eBay for like $34. But it looks really cool. They've also got stuff. They basically got props from every incarnation of Batman. I'm going to want to get the Batman Begins Batarang if they do it eventually. Nightwing.
Don't you have one?
Sticks. No, not from Batman Beyond.
Not Oh, you said Batman Begins.
Oh, Batman Begins. Yeah. Okay. So I've got Batman Begins. I want to get Batman Beyond. I got a wall of Batarangs apparently. And then, but Nightwing's fighting sticks. They're doing.
Oh, that's cool.
And then they've got. The other thing that I'm thinking about is the grapple launcher from 1989, which looks kind of cool. So, Dave, what do you got?
Well, I got two things that I don't think either one of you have. We tweeted or texted. We didn't tweet. We texted. Rhode Island Comic Con summer event is canceled. Makes sense.
No surprise.
Let's be safe. So I guess they're still going to do the fall. Is the fall going to be just inundated with people as they're dying to get back? I mean, who knows? I think Chiller's also doing their October thing.
Chiller's already started announcing guests, yeah.
Yeah. Heather Thomas?
I
think I saw
maybe.
Today.
I thought I saw they were having a MASH reunion with like Loretta Swit and Jamie Farr.
Oh, I saw Igor.
Okay.
That's the only thing I saw on my Instagram feed. I'll go with something while Todd's doing multiple.
Go ahead, and then I've got a couple I'll just rattle off.
This is completely random. I read this last night, and I thought it was very interesting. I don't know if you've seen this. So if they talk about there's only so many times you could actually fold a piece of paper, because if you were to fold a piece of paper in half, despite the size, whatever the size of it is, because it's all the same thickness as a piece of paper, which is like 0.04 millimeters. How many times do you need to fold it in half for it to reach from the Earth to the moon? I'll give you the answer.
I'm not sure I even understand the question.
I'll state it a different way. If you fold a piece of paper in half and then in half again, 42 times, it will be the thickness of the Earth to the moon. Is that crazy? It's because every fold is exponential. You couldn't do it, but every fold is exponential. That it only takes 42 folds.
So you're saying the thickness, if you could do it that many times.
You could probably get to somewhere around 20 is what you're saying, or maybe 15. Or
you can't, a normal piece of paper, you can't even get to 7. 20 is the height of Mount Everest. A piece of paper, the thickness of a piece of paper.
Did you read this on The Onion, perhaps? Where are you reading this?
No, it was a thing. And if you were able to fold a piece of paper 103 times, it would reach the distance of the known universe.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have never done this before, but Barry, I think you'll concede with this. You'll agree with me on this. Dave has one random.
That is, I read it last night.
I don't believe we have. There's anything that you can top.
We can eradicate a random topic?
No, I'm saying I don't think there's anything that you can say that will be more random.
More random than that.
That is random. I just thought it was fascinating. And I'm telling Pam, and she's like, okay, so what are you talking about? So what?
This is like when my dad used to say to me, well, if you saved a penny every day and then you doubled that every day, and yeah, I know, I'd have $1 million in, I don't know, 72 days or whatever.
But you can't double it every day because you won't have enough money to do it. But
exactly.
Just 42 times of exponentially folding something that's 0.04 millimeters will reach to the moon. Is that just crazy?
That is crazy.
There you go. That's random.
I can't follow that, but I'll try.
That is a tough bar to tackle.
You could follow that. This was like a list of 35 random things. You could follow this by telling us Cookie Monster's real first name.
If I knew that, I would follow with that.
It's Sid, just so you know.
Sid Cookie Monster?
I didn't know that.
Okay. All right, well, this sounds so anticlimactic coming off that, and apparently this was announced in February, and we all somehow missed it, but Chloe Bennett has been cast in the live-action Powerpuff Girls series.
Ooh, series?
Yes.
On what?
I think it's a Berlanti show.
Oh, God.
And apparently the Powerpuff Girls are in their late 20s and disillusioned from having their childhoods robbed from them, having to constantly fight crime. So there you have that. That doesn't even come close.
That. Okay,
that's kind of sad.
I will go with one or two other random things since we're doing them in groupings. So we talked a couple weeks ago about William Shatner's birthday party in Ticonderoga, and we were kind of balking at the VIP price of $1,500. Well, they sold out really quick.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we aren't going on the VIP package because there aren't any to be had. But good for him. I think that I'm guessing based on what we saw, there was probably about 50 VIP tickets.
I mean, that's still not even that much money. It's like $75,000.
Yeah, but that sold out really quick. So good for them. And then the last thing I just thought was worth mentioning. Apparently, the Indiana Jones movies are getting a 4K box set coming out in June. All 3 movies plus some other thing will be in there as well.
Plus an uninteresting featurette.
Yeah, but I don't know if I feel the need to. I've got them on Blu-ray, and I don't know how much better a 4K transfer is going to look on those movies.
I know. I haven't other than it wasn't even Iron Man. I have not rebought anything from Blu-ray to 4K.
I've bought some of the Star Wars movies in 4K, but other than that, I haven't. I don't think I've upgraded anything. But I mean, the Indiana Jones movies look amazing in Blu-ray. But like, I've been rewatching some of them recently, and my son Joey just rewatched all of them. The effects kind of don't hold up in a lot of places. Like, I don't know that 4K is a requirement.
It's going to be tricky. I will say, I think
I don't see the
own
need to buy it.
Film somewhere in everything going back to Laserdisc and the original, anyways. I'm not sure I see a compelling reason to do this, but
yeah, and I am an easy target for these kind of reissues usually, but this one didn't really. I didn't jump at this one.
I could see that. The newer things, like the Marvel movies, I'll buy the 4K. And there was a point where I was going to say, they're all on Disney Plus. Like I've watched. What did I watch? I watched Endgame or part of Endgame. The 4K Blu-ray is definitely better than the Disney streaming.
I told you that a while back. The 4K on Disney Plus looks good, but it's compressed still. The uncompressed Blu-ray, 4K Blu-rays look amazing.
Yeah, I'll continue to buy those. I don't know if there's much else I would buy.
I've been slowly replacing the Star Wars movies with the 4K versions. I don't have them all yet, but I probably have, 4 or 5 of the 9 movies.
Yeah. There's some crazy movie, even now you look up 4K, there are $9.99 4K.
Oh, I know.
One of the things I'm thinking of buying is The Matrix, because I only have a DVD of The Matrix. That they claim is, especially for Atmos, is one of the hallway scene in Atmos is supposedly amazing. So it's not cheap though. It's not like even I thought it was like $40.
I actually had it in my Amazon cart. I just haven't bought it yet. But the Total Recall 4K is only $13.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I don't have any version of that. So
$13 on Amazon.
Nice. Any other random?
No.
You know where you could save your money when you're buying 4K Blu-rays? You'd spend it at Fanboy. Everything you need. Especially, Todd, if you need a Prime 1 41-inch Batman statue.
It is amazing.
They've got one.
Yeah. I think
it is
41
cool.
inches.
I think Troy has standing orders not to let me buy expensive Batman statues. I think we've had that talk.
But check that out. Plus, Hot Toys and Pops and Sideshow and Kotobukias and everything. If you want to... What did they come out with Pops today of...
I am very selective.
40-year-old virgin.
I was going to say, I'm very selective on the Pops that I buy.
Oh, yeah.
But 40-year-old virgin Andy, after having been waxed with the smiley face on his chest, I kind of need that.
Yeah, you totally need that. But
okay, so
check him out.
Before we jump out of the ad, quickly, I corresponded with Troy today. And what do you think has been the fastest-selling pre-order Hot Toys figure that he's ever had?
Wanda.
Yes. What do you think it beat? Any guesses?
Captain Marvel. I don't know.
Iron Man. It's got to be one of the Iron Mans, no?
Cap from Endgame.
Oh, yeah, okay. That's still up for pre-order on there. I'm surprised he hasn't closed that out.
It's been amazing. The interest in that's been phenomenal. So get your pre-orders, people. This is going to be a tough one to find when the time comes.
Yeah, totally. And that figure looks awesome. But check them out. It is still... It's funny because I was on the website today and off to the side, I'm like, you could still pre-order Cap? I was a little shocked by that.
I would suspect that's got to do with because he had so many pre-orders. I bet he stocked that one well.
Yeah,
but that's going to be one of their best-selling figures ever.
Yeah, so check that out. Make sure you get that, and it comes with the broken shield and the hammer and everything.
And there's an Elvira hood ornament statue that looks pretty cool.
I saw that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Check them out online, fanboycollectibles.com. Check them out in their store in Newtown, Connecticut. Tell them the regular Joe sent you. Okay, so Barry forced us to watch Justice League.
Yep, I'll take the blame for that.
In preparation to watch a twice as long Justice League.
Right, but just in fairness, I wanted you to watch it because of my experience. And my experience was, I put the skull down. We haven't started yet. I watched it, and my reaction was, wow, this is not nearly as bad as I remember it being. I was curious if you guys would have the same reaction. So, what was your reaction having watched it again?
I will go. I agree with you. I'm sat there watching it, and I'm like, I don't even remember some of this stuff. You know what I think? There's stuff that's in Batman versus Superman that I got confused of where it is. And like the whole stupid dream sequence when he's in that freaking trench coat.
Yeah.
Because I know they've cut that into the new movie. I'm like, I hate that part. I thought that was in this movie. I think I've watched that. I saw it in the theater. I may have seen 10 minutes here or there of it. And there's definitely things wrong with it. But I was able to follow the story, and I did enjoy it as a viewing experience more than I thought. So
and that's all I was trying to get at. That was my reaction as well. I'm not saying I thought it was great. I'm just saying I remember thinking it was awful, and after rewatching it, I'm like, this wasn't as bad as I remembered it being.
I don't think it's as bad certainly as Batman versus Superman.
I will now tempted to rewatch that. I don't think I would have said it at the time. I will say there is, and again, I'm kind of in the same place Dave is, and maybe I understand what you're saying, Barry.
Todd, just bring your microphone down. That's good.
Initial experience is so unsatisfying, particularly juxtaposed with a Marvel film, that it's jarringly bad in some instances. There are some things in this that are quite good. And I will say the very unconventional Flash characterization, I like that so much more this time than the other time, because
that's what the comedic element that I feel Snyder's gonna is gonna be way too serious.
Yeah,
there
won't
was
be any
very much
no levity at all.
Just Whedon with a trowel, okay, doing this in here, but it found its stride eventually when it became mostly, I mean, there weren't a whole lot of like Batman jokes, but Batman, when he made it, it was good. It was like it fit. I like that they established he'd been Batman for 20 years. I will say, coming out of this movie,
Affleck did a good job.
I think Affleck was great.
I regret that we don't have a Ben Affleck Batman movie.
I agree with that.
I would love to see a Batman who's been in the saddle for 20 years, okay, kind of wrapping things up because he's at that point. And I like the Alfred from this. I very much like J.K. Simmons, Commissioner Gordon, very traditional kind of thing. I think there's the bones there that could have made a decent late career Batman movie. And I'm sorry,
I totally agree with that. I think knowing that the bad guy is visually and whatever else characterization as thin as a video game character, knowing that going in, it's not as jarring.
I mean the effects they were unfinished. You could just tell they were unfinished. They didn't spend the money they needed to make it look as good as also any other movie in that genre.
Who played that? Nobody. It's like you didn't get any. I mean, you look at Josh Brolin and and his
and that's
Thanos compared to this. Could have been anybody. It was just
this was again. We've had this conversation before, but this was meant to tee up the second movie, and then they decided they were going to do one and done. Okay. This is like I said, it's not good. It's better than, like I said, once you get past the initial letdown, because there's no question they screwed the pooch on this. They changed the tone of this film. They crammed a whole lot of things in here. In some ways, this feels a lot like a big budget superhero movie made by a committee, where it's like, okay, we're going to spend 7 minutes introducing each character, and we're going to tell you redundant things that you already should know about them, just in case this is watched by complete idiots. I'm going to explain to someone how the lasso works the first time I use it. Okay? It's like this kind of thing. Where
I get that, but that didn't bother. I think it was just,
like I said,
the characters were there, which is good.
But that's what I'm saying.
Aquaman was good.
They should have been further down the line at the point they did this. Needless, again, they continue to just interject these little. Why, after 80 years, do we have to give Clark Kent a middle name? What was the point of that? On his tombstone, they added Joseph as his middle name. It's never been his middle name. Okay, he's never had a middle name. Now he has one. But
they rushed to this instead of doing... Like, I just rewatched part of Aquaman, which was a fine movie, lighthearted. They should have done the individual movies.
Yeah,
did Wonder Woman come out before or after this movie? I don't remember.
Before.
What's that?
It did.
The first Wonder Woman came out before.
It was in the same year, but
it did because they made.
It definitely was watchable, and I enjoyed. Gal Gadot in those leather pants. That's enough. Well, that's the price worth the price of admission right there.
Yeah.
I achieved my goal then. I was just curious.
I will say, I would not have watched it again. I don't think I felt any desire to watch it again. I have a list of things I liked and a list of things I didn't like that I came up with, but like cribbing the TV Barry Allen's backstory just seemed really cheap. Okay, that was one it wasn't the comic Barry Allen's backstory. They lifted it right from TV. I thought Commissioner Gordon was good. They actually called the Batmobile, which is something they hadn't done in decades. That was cool, and I loved. Like I said, I think my favorite things in this were the recognition that Flash is an accidental hero. This is not someone who was raised to be a hero like Wonder Woman, who was destined to be a hero like Superman, or really just wanted to do it like Batman. This is a person who got struck by lightning and had his powers with no instruction manual whatsoever. I just push people and run away. It was great when Bruce Wayne's trying to do the pitch, and he says, "Oh, I'm in." It's like there's no hesitation.
There's a lot of levity in this that I think is, Aquaman's got some, Batman's got some.
Where I'm going with
that
this
works.
is, I would actually probably watch the Flash movie. I mean, it'd be interesting to see what they do.
I would,
so.
yeah.
Well, and I felt it was important for me anyway to reacclimate to this version because I want to see, now that I'm going to watch the 4-hour version, how different is it? And I want to be able to compare and contrast them in my head because
Zack is going to be trying so hard to make something so different, and it's just, I feel like it's just going to be this sort of just depressing
things that he's saying in the press are actually concerning me.
I'm trying not to see or watch. I haven't watched the trailer. I haven't done anything.
The last person who should have stepped in after Zack Snyder on this was Joss Whedon. Absolutely the last person who should have had their hands on this. And there's a lot of people that can save a film. Whatever you think of his talents, having the person that did 2 Avengers films come in to do this film tonally just was not a good choice.
Well, but that tells you a lot about where the studio's head was, right?
Oh,
They're like, we need to get the guy that did the Avengers to fix this.
This was a Hail Mary pass that was done, like I said. This was, I'm sure a lot of this was preordained before he picked it up. They went, they bungled the setup for this, and they bungled the follow through.
Yeah,
but I got to say, of the Snyder movies, this is better than the Snyder movies. Man of Steel, I don't love. Batman vs Superman is just a mess. And it's just, so full of themselves and serious. And
I don't mind Man of Steel.
I will put this.
Man of Steel.
I can't say this is anywhere near as good as Man of Steel. Man of Steel is too heavy for me.
I've watched some of that the other day.
It's not Superman proper to me.
It is heavy.
But still, it's
But that's Snyder's tone. I expect heavy from him.
That is.
But then the destruction, the constant destruction at the end, which is just so unsettling.
I agree entirely, and it was jarring, and I don't want to ever watch it again because of that. And, but it's like if you take Superman to then Batman versus Superman, I don't know what's coming next, but it's like they're getting darker. And that was the path he was going on. He was going to
What I thought was interesting. I read an article today where they were quoting an interview that Snyder did, where he said in his mind each movie needed to get 20 minutes longer. So and that's how he got to the 4-hour version. And he's like, in my mind, there's 9 cuts of this movie, and I think that there's an even longer cut than 4 hours. And that's where I'm just like, just shut up, just please.
He needs a punch
stop
in the
talking.
Face.
And I've been excited about this. I want to see it.
Best comment he's made is he's not going to make any more DC films. So one way or another, he's got an extremely rare. No, this has never happened before. He has got a unprecedented second shot at this film, and
why I don't understand.
Which either he delivers or he doesn't.
Yeah,
I feel like they did this at a time when it's like HBO Max is going to get off the ground. This is something to bring people in, not knowing COVID was going to happen, and every theatrical was going to be dumped on HBO Max.
The original film underperformed, and I mean, for the investment in this, I think they're going to do okay with this. I really don't think.
Okay, with what? There's no money to be made. You think people are signing up to Max just to get this thing?
Oh, I think they are.
Some people will, but I think their bigger challenge is that I think their bigger challenge is that there are people that get HBO Max that don't even know that they get it.
There's also like a big neon sign pointing to HBO Max. Is that the other thing?
But there's so much other. You got Kong versus Godzilla, which is all over the thing. That'll bring more people in. I think their idea was like, all right, we spend $100 million. You just dropped $1 billion worth of movies, more $1 billion and $10 billion, no, $5 billion in box office this year to drop all these movies on.
Right, but meanwhile, what we've been talking about Disney Plus and how we couldn't believe that they had 85 million subscribers, and last week they crossed 100 million. So
yeah,
they're killing it with subscribers. Like nobody, including themselves, nobody thought they would get to 100 million this fast.
Nobody.
I'm just because I don't want to go. I wasn't going to talk that stuff this week at all, but so I'm just going to say I run into people watching the two most recognized, most acknowledged series on Disney Plus that astonish me, that watch those shows. That it just like that's even in their consciousness. It amazes me. And I don't know what they're doing, but they're doing it well. So
I also read this week that they apparently upped the budget. WandaVision was $25 million an episode. So where Mandalorian had been $10 million an episode, and then in the same article I read that Disney Plus's goal now for both Marvel and Star Wars is to make all of their shows as cinematic as movies, so that they're upping the budget of all of the upcoming Star Wars shows now as well.
Good.
So
good.
Hey,
okay.
I mean, when I watched that making of WandaVision thing, and I saw that they actually brought people in as a live studio audience to watch them filming the sitcoms, like they did not need to do that. It brought nothing to the viewer, but it brought something to the performers, I guess, and that's why they did it.
Right.
But wow, like amazing that they would go to that
This
length.
is, we and we'll maybe devote an episode to this, but I think this is a model that's transcending TV, and I think that they blurred the lines right out of the chute. I think this changes everything. It was a model that needed to be broken too. So, cool.
Okay, that's Justice League. So next week we're going to watch the new one. It may take a week to watch it, and then we're going to talk about that. I guess we're going to invite Brian on because I know he wanted to be on
and he
talk about.
Texted us that he rewatched Justice League and he just thought it was a mess. So
yeah, I just can't believe 4 hours. I haven't watched a 4-hour movie ever.
I was asking my family members who wanted to watch it with me this weekend, and part of me, if I'm enjoying it, I want to watch the whole thing in one night. But if not, I may need to break it up into 2 nights.
That's the thing. I'm trying to think. I want to watch. Friday is for the girlfriend. No, Friday is for
thanks.
The Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, 100%.
You gotta watch
Friday night's Falcon and Winter Soldier.
I feel like I'm gonna come home from work. I'm gonna be prepared to drink if necessary, and I'm gonna sit through the whole thing.
Well, we also don't know how many episodes of Falcon and Winter Soldier are dropping Friday. Could be 1. It could be 2.
I hope it's 1. I don't. We need to spread that.
Yeah,
out.
I read that
we'll spread it out. We're gonna let that just settle in a little bit, and I also
on that point though, they did release 2 episodes of WandaVision in the first week, and I listened to an interview and I listened to an interview with the director of the series this past week. He said that their original goal was to release the first 3 episodes all in one shot, so that you would get to that point in the end of the 3rd episode where you started to see what was actually going on. And they said they ran out of time. Disney Plus needed the episodes faster than they could finish them.
I think I only watched. They had the 2. I didn't watch the 2 the first week.
We talked about it.
Yeah, we watched them. Yeah.
Oh.
3 would have made sense. So
yeah, that's what the director said was the original plan. So who knows? We
Falcon,
might get 1
there's
episode.
only 6 episodes, I think. There's no way they're going to put. I think there's only 6.
Yeah, I'm fine with 1. They're also longer.
I'm okay with 1. I'm just saying we don't know what their plans are.
Yeah, I'm going to hold Justice League for Saturday, even though it does come out Thursday. If you're desperate, you could watch it on Thursday.
Yeah,
that's what I'm going to do.
Desperate.
I want this done. I want this done and banked before I go into the other. So,
wow, that's.
I'm going to savor the real one, and then I'm going to watch this.
Yeah. I feel like there's a reason this was released the day before. So,
all right. Well, anyway, watch it. We'll be talking about it. Let us know what you think. Okay. More Superman. So CW, the Arrowverse, Berlanti's got Superman and Lois on, which Todd's taking off his shirt. I was reluctant to watch it, and because I just, but there's nothing else to watch, so I'm like.
Well, this is going to sound like the most ass-backwards endorsement ever. But
no,
go ahead,
I
continue.
thought I'm thinking it's okay. It's watchable. I've watched. I'm caught up. I've watched the first 3 episodes.
Right, but so let's just caveat this. You both watched how many seasons of Smallville? So you guys are both all in on this kind of stuff.
Let me tell you something. Small. It was a slog. It was
I didn't make it
but you made it through, right?
I watched 10 seasons of it.
I saw until Pa Kent died, and so that was
my point is you guys are both more invested in Superman and Lois than I've ever been.
But I just watched. But first, I have not seen an episode of Lois and Clark.
Okay, and Barry, to be clear, Smallville wasn't Superman. Okay,
it wasn't even that good.
It was
just I don't know what else
was
on.
But it was never
Superman
quite
light. Yeah.
Okay, I did see some of Lois and Clark, not all of Lois and Clark. It was too jokey for me.
It's very 90s.
I watched it to see Terry Hatcher.
It does not hold up. If you go back and I tried watching an episode a couple of years ago, and it was just like,
yeah. I feel like this has got the interest of Superman and the story of like Smallville all wrapped into one. And, I'm enjoying it. I think it's watchable. Like every Berlanti show, the first seasons, I feel like this is going to go off the rails at any time. But I'm enjoying it. It's a different take.
Okay.
He's got 2 teenage sons. So it's definitely got a different take on the whole story.
I really liked the first episode. I've been hesitant to do it. I really liked it. I think I was worried it was going to feel Supergirl-ish, and it does not.
It's not at all.
I like the way it's filmed. I like the lighting, the real, the very much more realistic, almost cinematic lighting.
It was widescreen.
It's nice that it's not in a city like every other show.
It's not in a fake-looking city. Okay.
Yeah.
So like it gave it opportunity for different kind of lighting and a lot of like natural lighting and sunsets and all that kind of stuff.
And like I said, that
outside,
that
big open spaces. You don't see that in any of those shows.
And I'll say, I think the CGI looked pretty good. I think it's the kind of thing it does not look as in Supergirl. Some of this stuff looks a little hokey.
Yeah, sure.
They've got this nailed. I really liked the. I tend to be very critical of the opening sequence where they explain everything, and
I was a little disappointed that they felt the need to speed through. I include the origin at all, but let alone speed through it the way they did.
Right. The reason for that though is this is very different than the Superman we've been exposed to in Supergirl, though it's the same character, same actor. So they had to basically say, oh yeah, by the way, this is this. But one of the things that I really liked was the first time we see Superman, he has the costume from Superman's very first appearance.
Yeah, which is awesome. I love that.
Looking as it is, he has that costume. And then when we see him later,
and he says,
he's got the more traditional version of it. And then when we see him in the present day, he's got basically something more similar to the movie version. And
yeah, I did like that. And I hated his Supergirl costume.
And they said that it was clear that costume was really good for standing around talking and filming a couple shots. It wasn't a wear all the time kind of. So they had to go back to the drawing board and redo that. And I'm glad they did. I like the characters. I like that they seem human and fallible. I realize that there's a family drama nested in the middle of this thing, but it is the CW.
It makes it connectable, I think.
I think the cast...
You know why? Because I feel like of all these shows, this is the closest to our life, as not that close. Okay, and this is
the thing, too. It's like...
As opposed to all the other ones?
I think this hinged very much on the two boys, and I think the two boys feel very real as teenage boys. And, they don't seem like cardboard cutout Riverdale characters or something like this. Yeah. They actually seem like kids that,
have issues in
different
dealing with
characteristics
crap
that they have.
Yeah, and I also feel like without some other plot line that is grounded, you end up in the situation you're in all the other Berlanti shows where every week it's a different villain.
Oh, and exactly.
And when there is family drama, it's, it's the Flash and his wife, it's not real. It's just hard to sustain a series without the ability to do these other things.
Yeah,
of Supergirl fighting with her best friend, who you didn't even think was her best friend, and the world was ending because of that. That's so not real.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. This feels very different tonally. It is kind of interesting that in that whole intro sequence, no mention of the cousin whatsoever. Found that?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Is this on this Earth?
That's what we're going to have to figure out. Or is this in a different timeline? Okay, is this like further along than Supergirl? You know, is Supergirl in the past for this? Because we saw in Supergirl, Superman and Lois,
they weren't married yet, right?
They weren't married. No mention. She was pregnant,
and they went to another planet.
They went to New Krypton to do the birth. And
so this is 14 years late, 15 years later.
Except that everything was reset by the crisis event. So I think this is the ramifications of the crisis event. It changed the timing on things. It'd be interesting to see.
Is she on the same?
If there's
there's one Earth now.
Or maybe they're just, because Supergirl's going away, maybe they're just not even ever going to touch on it, which would actually probably make more sense.
They're in the crossover. There's a crossover that they're all in together.
Oh, there is, but I'm saying, that crossover also had like universe shuffling ramifications. So
no, I'm saying this year's crossover.
Oh, there is a crossover planned?
Yeah, I think there's a crossover. I want to say I thought it was in December.
Oh, I had not heard that yet.
Being the guy that's far less invested in this, I mean, I get everything you're saying about the family. I felt a little bit, to me, and maybe I'm not the target audience for this, but the fact that one of the kids was so emo, and they mentioned that he's got tantrums and social anxiety disorder, and it almost felt like they were trying to say, we've got, the poster child for everything that's going on in the world. And to me, it was a little too on the nose. I mean, I get it. He also looked like Frodo with that haircut, which I just couldn't,
look a little like Frodo, but
couldn't deal with.
I like I said, I think kids are messy, as you guys well know. And I think having two perfect kids with different eye color or something like that, or whatever, different haircuts, just isn't realistic in today's world. I think.
No, and I get that. I
think the differences between them is exacerbated by the differences between them. I think we had a fairly good job being introduced to the two kids. I thought they were both, they both seemed like they could be their kids. One of the interesting things is General Lane has always been an antagonist to Superman. It's very interesting that right out of the chute he knows who he is. And he's actually even got a signal device,
and he's still an antagonist.
Yeah. So it's well, he's a father-in-law, but it's not like he's not like out to kill him and stuff.
No, and not knowing any of that lore, I felt it was a little contrived that he's married to the most famous reporter in the world, whose father just happens to be a 4-star general. Like, it all felt a little too convenient.
Those things go together. It really is. I mean, you think about it, between her father and her husband, she's got a lot of scoops. I felt that, Morgan Edge is an actual character in the comics, and he is exactly the way they're portraying him. He's just like a heartless.
Yeah, he showed up in something. Didn't he show up in
buys up things and whatnot?
Supergirl?
And going back to the 70s, he was the one that bought the Daily Planet in the 70s.
It seemed a little crazy to me that somebody as smart as Superman would use laser vision inside a nuclear reactor that's melting down.
You got to do what you got to do.
Exactly. I actually thought the iceberg thing looked great.
That was good. I'm just like, really? Laser vision right next to a melting down reactor?
You'd be surprised, having worked in a nuclear power plant, Barry, you'd be surprised what you could do next to a reactor. I'm just saying.
I also felt like I get it, it's a pilot, but they crammed so much into that one episode. He got stabbed with kryptonite. You've got, Lex Luthor in a Halo Master Chief costume. You've got his whole origin story. You've got all this stuff crammed into one episode. It just felt like, this felt like we're always saying, but you and I are always saying, you need 3 episodes to really get, they crammed 3 episodes worth of stuff into one episode.
Right. Here's the problem with that, Barry, is a lot of this either is known to people that know Superman, or is contrary to the traditional story of Superman. So they had to get those kind of two things out there right out of the chute, so that they can get. So it's not like people 3 episodes from now aren't saying, "Oh, wait a minute, this isn't right." So the differences had to be put out there. In order to do that, you had to give the basis for that. I mean, it was a tricky move. I was very dubious of this. I was pleasantly surprised. I thought the first time we saw him as Superman in Supergirl that there was potential there. I also think this is in recent Superman comics. They have a younger son who's around 12, and it's actually been a really interesting storyline. So I think there's potential here. I was also again dubious of the 2 sons. I don't know if I'm sold on it, but I think there's definitely story potential there.
I like Lana Lang. She was Sloane from Entourage.
I know.
Yep. It's we got another Lana Lang.
They mentioned a Soul Asylum concert. I thought that was cool.
Yes. Clark went to see Soul Asylum.
Yeah.
It's Again, like I said, I think it's definitely got potential. Certainly more so than a lot of the other Berlanti stuff that's out there.
So how long?
Like I said, I've watched 3. I won't get into them, but they're still watchable. For
how
sure.
long until they recast Lois?
Until they
recast who?
Lois.
I like Lois.
She's just.
I did not like her in Supergirl. She's growing on me a little here. She's definitely growing on me because she's got an edge. I don't love. There's some whole weird mouth thing that just I don't like about her.
I go a little less by physical appearance than Dave does, but I will say maybe a lot. I will say I think she's an accurate representation of that character, who that character should be today.
I just sent you guys on text a picture of every actress that's played Lois Lane up until this point.
Yeah, again,
one of these things is not like the other.
This is not a physical thing. I'm saying she embodies the character of Lois Lane in the present sense very well, and I think it works. That works for me.
I love Erica Durance, but she was not Lois Lane.
No, she was not.
I think Amy Adams is doing a good job.
Amy Adams was good. Again, similar thing though. It's good. You got to have that like. It's got to be someone who's like so driven to do what they're going to do that they make bad decisions, because that's the nature of Lois Lane, and she's always looking for stories. She's got to be, that's got to be the thing that comes first. I do like that she's more successful than her husband, because
she is definitely growing on me.
It would be ridiculous if Clark's the one with the Pulitzer Prizes when he's disappearing all the time and stuff.
I don't know.
I need to CGI her mouth.
In a world where there's nothing to watch, this wasn't enough to compel me to watch more.
Really?
Okay.
Wow. Well, wait. Now you have to say what else you're watching.
Yes.
All right, I'm sorry. I would rather watch an episode of 90 Day Fiancé than another episode of this show.
We're going to hold a vote. Barry will tell you the results of it afterwards.
No, he's watching that.
I have been watching it because there's a woman.
What are you
on
going to
there
watch,
who's
My
got the
600-Pound Life next?
No, I can't watch that. But there's a woman who's got the same accent as Natasha Nagudnik, and it cracks me up when she tries to speak. It's so funny.
Oh, my God. That's bad. That's very bad.
My fiancé divorced me. I need to go back to Ukraine. It's so funny. I love it. Anyway. It's mindless. This to me, I want to like this, and I don't. That I can watch and not have to worry about whether I like it.
Oh, God.
You drive me to drink, Barry. I'm telling you.
Even Below Decks is better than that, and that is watchable for maybe 3 episodes before it's just this is the worst.
Yeah,
anyway,
I hear you.
Okay. So that's our DC update. More next week.
Yeah, we're taking a little break from Marvel, but we'll be back there soon. Don't you worry.
Let's go. What's in the box?
Show you in the box. Who's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box?
Regular Joe's What's in the Box.
Barry, what's in the box?
I don't think I've done this as a What's in the Box. It just came like a week ago, but I know I told you about it. But I got another model. I got another reissue from the 60s as a Godzilla model kit. With glow-in-the-dark pieces, so similar to the Phantom that I told you guys about. I don't think I ever showed on the show it finished, but I did finish the Phantom. I know I sent you guys pictures. and I'm really happy with the way it came out. I'm enjoying building these Aurora monster models from my youth. So Godzilla, and then the next one that's going to be coming out is King Kong. So that'll be cool to have the two of them. And I don't see myself building every one of these that they ever release, but these are fun.
Where do you put them all?
Completely out of space. They're in random spots. But this one's cool.
I will give the Godzilla a home. I have a Godzilla shelf. So if you find you don't have room for that,
once he's built, he may make his way to you.
And that's the like kind of happy looking Godzilla. Oh yeah,
it's the happy Godzilla where he's stomping on. There's like the little the city that he's stomping on down at the bottom. Unlike the Phantom, where I was able to utilize some of the glow in the dark pieces in a fun way where it didn't take away from it, I don't see myself doing the head, tail, and spikes in glow in the dark on this. So I think it's just going to be
inside
weird.
of his mouth. Inside of his
Maybe
mouth.
the spikes. I would leave the spikes.
I've seen that done where the spikes are glow in the dark.
I think the spikes in the inside of his, like the roof of his mouth and stuff, could be kind of cool.
It's going to depend on what color. I haven't opened it yet. What color they are. As long as they're a color that kind of works when it's not, when the lights are on. If it's a weird color, then it may not work. But yeah, we'll see once I get.
I wonder if you could put a translucent, like darker green on it. Would it darken it, but still let it glow?
You could do a green wash, or they make like clear. I have clear red and clear blue. I'm sure.
I have clear red for something, but that's what I was wondering.
Yeah,
I'm working on another model right now. That this will be the next one on tap. But I am in the middle of building the Tomorrow Is Yesterday F-104 Starfighter from Star Trek. So I'm doing that right now.
Is clear red still taillight red? Is that? I remember
that's
what it
so.
used to be back in the day. That's what it was. It was taillight red.
Yeah, I think that was the tester's color, and the clear red is, to me, one that I have. But yeah, and I've used it on stuff before. It's great because it tints, but it doesn't completely cover. It's opaque, so it's nice. So that's what I got. Todd, what's in the box?
Okay. I can't hold this up because A, it weighs 50 pounds, and B, it's in the garage below me. But I purchased a new bike last week. I picked it up, I should say. I had to pre-order it. It is a Trek Allant 8S. It's an e-bike. This thing is so freaking cool. It's a very, very interesting concept, and I think that probably the best way I can describe it is, in The Expanse, like Bobby's power armor takes like her motion and then augments it. That's exactly the way this works. If you're not pedaling this thing, you're not going anywhere. It will pretty much coast to a halt. But if you're pedaling it, depending on which mode you have in, it takes your power and augments it and propels you along further. It's a very weird experience to begin with, to get used to it, but freaking awesome. There's a flat on the approach to our school. I did 28.5 miles per hour in turbo mode. Which is quite fast, and
you're booking on a bike.
Are your
going
legs
that fast.
spinning super? Or your
no,
pedals
because
spinning
again,
super
I'm still,
fast?
what I'm doing to do that, I've got it in a harder gear, a more difficult gear, and I'm pushing a little harder. Okay, not 28 miles per hour hard. Probably the equivalent of what I would do to get to do like 11, 12 miles an hour. Okay.
So then that takes that kinetic energy and translates it into...
It's also, it's got a battery assist, so it's using battery. It's got about a 90-mile range, depending on which mode you have it in. I will say there is a extremely steep hill to our school, leading up to our school, and I would say, at best, riding up that hill, I would be going 5, maybe 6 miles per hour, and that would be working really hard and sweating a lot. And I went up this between 11 and 13 miles an hour with very little effort. And
so this is like a commuter bike.
This is what I've
it's
got.
Not like it's not like a mountain bike or any of that.
My 15-minute ride becomes a 21-minute commute with this, and it's a lot more fun. And I'm outside. I'm outside before I go down into my basement office, and it's like I said, it's a whole lot of fun. It was way more fun than I imagined. I did.
But to
turn
Dave's
the motor
point,
off.
though, this isn't a mountain bike. Like, you wouldn't take this on trails.
There,
right?
there are
Yeah.
mountain bike versions of this. I don't want to go there. I had this conversation with the guy at the shop, who's a friend of mine, and I said, I don't want a mountain bike 4 hours with help. I want a mountain bike 2 hours on my own and enjoy every second of it. So this is purely for getting around, and it works actually. Because the 2 or 3 that I've tried over the years worked well. None have been as advanced as this one is. It's got the engine, the motor is Bosch, the battery is Bosch. It's a really, really cool setup, and it's very, very heavy. It's just about 50 pounds. I did turn the motor off and pedal it just to see what would happen if I ran out of juice. And you got to keep momentum going. It's twice as heavy as most of the bikes I ride, but it can be done. But it's just a blast. It's really, really fun. I guess probably the closest thing to it is like an electric moped. I mean, when you get right down to it, if you remember mopeds back in the day, but yeah, and this is kind of a higher mid-range one. They go up quite a bit from here, but again, I had the chance to ride it for about an hour on Saturday before it got really crazy cold again. It was 16 when I got up this morning, so I did not commute, but I'm hoping to ride it to work later this week. So.
Great.
Cool.
Yeah, that's what I got. Dave, what do you got?
I have, this was another gift. It did come in a box. This was interesting. This is called a sea bag. It's a duffel bag. You can see it's got a picture of an octopus on it. It's made from recycled sails from
cool.
sailboats.
Oh, cool.
So sailboat material is this like super hardy material, and there are companies that make stuff out of it. So Pam actually got me this. It's made in a company in Maine in this old factory up on in the water, but they buy old sails and they make all these different bags. And then this one they printed this sort of 2-sided octopus thing on it. So I just thought that was cool because you could even see it's got like some little pockets of rust and all this stuff, because I guess sails don't last that long because they have to change them out. But
once there's any kind of flaw in it, the whole thing goes. So
yeah, so
that's cool. That's great upcycling.
Exactly. Yeah.
Good size too. You could fit a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah. It's a good sort of
is
overnight
the rope
type of bag. And it's like the rope is made by the only company in New England still making rope. So they're definitely very sort of locally sourced and all that kind of stuff. Cool. So that's what's in the box. Any last thoughts?
Yeah, I think we've got one. A sad note. We heard today that Yaphet Kotto, actor, passed away, 81 years old. We all know him from Alien and Live and Let Die, but he's been in a lot of stuff over the years. He was in Running Man. He's been in a ton of TV, a lot of stuff. So, Dave, I think we met him at one of the Chiller shows,
I just sent the picture of we met him at Chiller.
Yeah.
I remember him being very nice. I remember he took a picture with Mark. He took a picture with me.
Yep.
I had him sign an Alien picture. Yeah, he seemed like a good dude.
Yeah, and I was reading today, he apparently is from African royalty. Like, his family goes back to African royalty, which was interesting. But, yeah, I mean, he not only was he in a lot of big movies, but he did a ton of TV. So, he was in an episode of Fantasy Island. I mean, and his career goes all the way back
Homicide, I think he was on.
A working actor. I mean, the guy never stopped, and, he did a lot of stuff. So, it's,
But... yeah, he was nice when I met him. So rest in peace. Yeah. We'll put that picture up on the website and the autograph.
Yep. I have one other thing, quick.
Okay.
This Saturday, I got my first shot. My first coronavirus vaccine. People, when you have the opportunity to do it, It's seriously, my arm hurt for 2 days, and that was about it. But you hear a lot people are talking about right now. Apparently, your political affiliation is a big factor in whether you're going to get this or not. Just don't be stupid. This is really, just do this. Let's put this behind us. And as soon as I had the opportunity when I did as an educator, but it will be your time very soon, and they
are getting a ton of vaccines. New York State.
You have endured worse this year. You have endured far worse this year in one way or another than making appointments, standing in line for a little while. And it may be the best thing.
Everyone has told me it's been smooth.
Yeah, it may be the best thing that you do for someone else this year.
Yep, my wife got hers today, and she said it was a relatively effortless process. So.
Yep.
Yeah. So do it. Don't be stupid.
Yep.
Wear a mask still.
You know what I meant to mention, by the way? Because this never happens, which is why I thought it was noteworthy. And we'll see if she picks up on this. Last week, my wife actually listened to our podcast. Didn't tell me she was going to. And that was the episode where I said that I couldn't believe she was still watching Walking Dead after all this. So she was... So, Marie, if you heard this, I love you, baby. I don't think she'll make it
I don't know why you're watching Walking Dead still, though. But
yeah, none of us can understand why you're still watching Walking Dead. But
no. Yeah. Nope.
Okay, carve out 4 hours of your week to watch Justice League, and
if you can stomach it, there's also a making of documentary coming out the same day.
Oh, Jesus,
with interviews with Snyder. So,
okay. Anyway, on that fun note, thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.